Hi there. We would like to invite you to subscribe to our channel, where we will share videos with you on interesting topics in economics and finance. By subscribing to our channel, you will enhance your knowledge of topical issues. Whether you are a student pursuing a course in economics or finance, or a policymaker, or perhaps a member of the public who simply wants to be better informed. Please hit the subscribe button and be informed whenever we publish a new video. Now, on to today's video. In our last video, we looked at how game theory can shed light on competitive pricing. In today's video, we will be continuing on the theme of game theory, this time focusing on its powerful application to strategy. Strategy is about competition and ideally cannot and should not be cast in stone. Static strategy is suboptimal. While it should be concrete enough and clear enough for all to follow, it should, however, be dynamic and capable of evolution and change over a given time horizon. Strategy set ex ante mostly becomes more or less obsolete once the rubber hits the road, once additional market information becomes available, once other players, be they competitors or other neutral players like customers, regulators, etc., take their respective actions in response. In such circumstances, it would be foolhardy, even potentially suicidal, to hang on to what was decided at the strategy session or board meeting without making appropriate changes to respond timely and appropriately. While it is true that in developing strategy, a market and competitor analysis is undertaken, this tends to be static or backward-looking. And yet, strategy is a game plan for the future. Game theory modeling, while mathematically perhaps too robust for everyday application, is however very pertinent for strategy modeling. Clearly, it is important to understand the game you are playing so that you choose the appropriate form of the game. Once chosen, the model can guide you throughout the interactions as your strategy unfolds. Take, for instance, a duopoly. You can think here of Coke versus Pepsi, or iOS versus Android. In geopolitics, during the Cold War, it was the US versus the USSR, but now it has morphed into the US versus China, and so on. In practice, neither of these can have or should have a strategy that is static. Yes, there is an overall goal, dominance, but each can only use past knowledge to model or anticipate or create scenarios based on the other's reaction to their own moves. Player 1 wouldn't know beforehand what player 2's reaction would be to player 1's move. Neither would player 2 know player 1's move beforehand, and how player 1 would react to player 2's move in reaction to player 1's initial move, and so on. Neither side would also know the severity or extent or impact of the move each makes. No move is also a move. Moreover, they would not know the reactions of third parties, like regulators or consumers, which would impact or have to be factored into subsequent moves. What they have to work with are scenarios or sequences, and their likely payoffs. Some situations may have finite scenarios or sequences, while others may have an infinite number of scenarios or sequences. And in order to simplify and be able to make a move, they may have to narrow down to a few scenarios or sequences. All this may sound philosophical and convoluted, but it can be modeled. However, the modeling presupposes flexibility. A calculation of the payoffs of each action and reaction without knowing what the competition will do, and a preparedness to adapt and change to circumstances as they unfold. So, a once-off annual strategy session, largely based on your own decisions, without factoring in what the competition may do, and then putting it on the shelf won't cut it. Besides the all too well-known failure to execute strategies, a failure to model appropriately may also be a factor in not implementing strategies. In other words, they are generally not implementable.